Scenario 4. Culture. Real Scene 4. Fashion. Clothes or fortune gives grace, or the future or the youth. But the language and the truth, with the ardor and the passion, gives the lover weight and fashion. Ben Jonson. My goal. When I complete Scenario 4, I'll understand the difference between past continuous and simple past, and how to use the past perfect correctly. I'll also learn about the wonderful world of fashion.
Introductory questions. 1. How much do you know about fashion? 2. What are urban tribes? 3. What do you know about the fashion cycles? Introduction. The term fashion applies to a characteristic, means of expression, or presentation. Fashion may follow trends, which gain or lose popularity. A fashion is also a design, as in a curious fashion, or a method, as cruel fashion. Fashion in clothes has allowed wearers to express agreement or solidarity with other people for millennia. Modern people have a wide array of choices available in the selection of their clothes. What a person chooses to wear can reflect that person's taste or likes. When people who have cultural influence start to wear new or different clothes, a fashion trend may start. People who like or respect them may start to wear clothes of a similar style. Fashion may vary significantly within a social group according to the status and age. If, for example, an older person dresses according to the fashion of young people, he or she may look ridiculous in the eyes of both young and older people. The term fashion victim refers to someone who slavishly follows the current fashions, implementations of fashion. Fashion, by definition, changes constantly. The change may proceed more rapidly than in most fields of human activity, language, thought, etc. For some, modern fast-paced change in fashion embodies many of the negative aspects of capitalism. It results in waste and encourages people and consumers to buy things that are unnecessary.
Others, especially young people, enjoy the diversity that changing fashion can apparently provide, seeing the constant change as a way to satisfy their desire to experience new and interesting things. Note, too, that although fashion can change to enforce uniformity, as in the case where so-called Mao suits became the national uniform of mainland China, materially affluent societies can offer a variety of different fashions in clothes or accessories to choose from. At the same time, there remains an equal or larger number of fashions designated, at least currently, out of fashion. These or similar fashions may cyclically come back into fashion in due time and remain in fashion again for a while. Practically every aspect of appearance that can be changed has been changed at some moment in time. In the past, new discoveries in lesser-known parts of the world could provide an impetus to change fashions based on the exotic. Europe in the 18th and 19th centuries, for example, favored Turkish things at one time, Chinese things at another, and Japanese things at a third. The global village has reduced the options of exotic novelty in more recent times. What is fashion? For centuries, individuals or societies have used clothes and other body adornment as a form of nonverbal communication to indicate occupation, rank, gender, sexual availability, locality, class, wealth, and group affiliation. Fashion is a form of free speech. It not only embraces clothing, but also accessories, jewelry, hairstyles, beauty, and body art. What we wear, and how and when we wear it, provides others with a shorthand to read the surface of a social situation. Fashion as a system of signs. Fashion is a language of signs, symbols, and iconography that communicates meanings about individuals and groups non-verbally. Fashion, in all its forms from a tattooed and pierced navel to the newest hairstyle, is the best form of iconography we have to express individual identity. It enables us to make ourselves understood with a quick glance by the onlooker. Fashion as a gauge of cultural changes. How we perceive the beauty or ugliness of our bodies depends on our cultural attitudes towards physiognomy. The accepted beautiful female form that Rubens painted is subliminally undesirable nowadays, if we are to be thought beautiful in a way that the majority accepts in the 21st century. Today, an inability to refashion and reshape our bodies whilst constantly monitoring the cultural ideal leaves us failing the fashion test. Those that pass the fashion test invariably spend their lives absorbed in a circle of diet, exercise, cosmetic surgery, and other regimes. This includes the rigors of shopping in search of the ultimate garb.
Grammar Structure 1. Past Continuous and Simple Past. She was modeling in the New York Fashion Week. Past Continuous. When the murder occurred. Simple Past. They were buying diamonds in Johannesburg while I was in jail. We were crossing the border until immigration caught us. Remember, when we use the past continuous for an action in the past, we use the simple past for an event that interrupted the action or happened at the same time.
The need for tribal belonging. Our reluctance to give ourselves a regular makeover through diet, exercise, and consistently conscious use of specific dress styles infers that we have the personality flaws of a weak-willed human. We become, in the eyes of fashion amateur, somewhat inadequate and imperfect in the fashion stakes. Thus, we strive to keep a culturally satisfying appearance so that we feel better, whereas, in fact, we are striving to stay in the tribe, whatever type of tribe that may be. Group affiliation is our prime concern with regard to fashion. As long as some group similarity is identified within the group, our personal fashion, whether current or dated, can belong to any tribe. It is the sense of belonging marked by how we fashion ourselves that gives us the tribal connection. Roles. An innate characteristic of human beings is the desire to strive for differentiation. The removal of sumptuary laws and rigid dress codes has enabled the individual to use fashion as a means to identify clearly the many different roles that a person plays in any one day. Sociologists borrowed the word role from the theater because, like actors, individuals play many parts and each part has to be learnt. Roles are continually learned and rehearsed and relearned. They are also shared, because like the actors on a stage, fluid interaction only occurs if all the performers know the behavior expected. Class stratification. The Edwardians were experts in the art of role play. They had had sufficient time to adjust to the new patterns of behavior established by the Victorians. The Edwardians were socially stratified into those who wore tailor-made clothing down to those who wore other people's cast-offs. The poor simply looked poor, because their outfit portrayed them, whilst the rich and nouveau rich displayed their wealth through an iconography of signs and symbols that enhanced their body image in the eyes of those that saw themselves as socially inferior. Role setting. Roles and activities are closely linked to what people wear. People are affected by their role set, which includes boyfriends, girlfriends, sisters, brothers, friends, husbands, lovers, mothers, fathers, grandparents, relatives, employers, customers, clients, workmates, business colleagues, peer, and age groups. The people with whom a purchaser interacts affect the financial purchase, and this applies to any fashion-dominated item from interior furnishings to choice of cars. Likewise, the purchase of fashionable clothes, fabrics, or accessories becomes a visual currency and speaks volumes silent. The tools of fashion provide the signs and symbols that function as an information service for the role set. People are so aware that others make judgments about them through their clothes and accessories that many run up huge debts to appear to belong to a particular lifestyle. Frequently, the rest of their role set are doing likewise. Members of the role set often encourage them. Only individuals with a strong sense of a self-identity stick their necks out and admit to wear items that others might consider dubious or passé.
Occupation, status, and purpose of clothing. Those with high status occupations will wear the clothes they think others expect them to wear. They don't wish to experience role conflict by wearing an incorrect clothing. It is from the clothes a person wears that we get our first impression of personality. They provide material clues to a person's status and occupational role, as well as being a means of conforming to peer group expectations. Clothes also have the utilitarian function of providing both protection from the extremes of the elements, keeping us warm or cool or safe. They also act as an aid to modesty or immodesty as the wearer so desires. The state of a person's clothes is synonymous with self-respect and is a sign of respectability. It also adds another sign that the person has sufficient status in society to maintain at the cost of time and money, laundering, dry cleaning, and repair. To be respectable, some expense has to be incurred in the maintenance of cleanliness and neatness.
Grammar structure 2. Past perfect. Past action. I was going to play tennis. Past perfect action. But I had forgotten to bring my racket. When I met her, someone had stolen her heart. When I came back to Colombia, my parents had prepared a great party. Remember, we use past perfect for events that happened before another action or time period in the past. Writing exercise. Put the verbs in brackets into the past simple or the past continuous tense to complete the sentences. 1. He, at over 90 kilometers an hour when the accident. Drive, occur. 2. The thieves, while we break in, sleep. 3. Someone with my clothes while I run off, swim. 4. When she, soccer, she, her leg. 5. I, my wife, when we, in Miami, meet, work. 6. I, in the store, when I, my purse, shop, lose.
Fashion cycles. The young have not always been the dominant in fashion history. Until the Victorian era, a fashion look took between 10 and 15 years to permeate country areas. Once rail travel improved mass communications between country and city, the cycle of fashion speeded up so fast that by the Edwardian era in 1901, fashion was moving in a yearly cycle. Emancipation of women and the contribution of all classes of women to the 1914 to 1918 war enabled and encouraged women to adopt more practical clothing and to try out new styles in fashion, hair, and beauty.
The millennium brought everyday changes in lifestyle, including fitness and health pursuits, car and air travel, and centrally heated environments. All of this created a need for clothing fashion designed for the way we live now, how we perceive ourselves, and what we want to say to society in a very visual, camera-obsessed culture. is still expressed through our bodies, the way we wear clothes, jewelry, and body art. Today, fashion and beauty can be affordable to everyone. There is always a range such as Avon that provides quality beauty, makeup, and accessory products at prices most can afford. Mass fashion is moving so fast that fashion now goes on a weekly cycle, and fashion trends are hot for a short time only.
Haute couture, French for high sewing. It is a common term for high fashion as produced in Paris and intimidated in other fashion capitals such as New York, London, and Milan. Sometimes it is used only to refer to French fashion. At other times, it refers to any unique stylish design made to order for wealthy and high-status clients.
Grammar Structure 3. Future Perfect Continuous. Use the future perfect continuous to talk about an event that will be in progress for some time before a specified time in the future. Janet will be really tired when we get home. She will have been looking after the children all day. It can be used to make predictions about event that will be in progress before a specified time in the future. Joe won't mind that we are late. He won't have been waiting for long. It can be used to predict what was happening in the past. What do you think the men were doing in the storeroom? Don't worry, they will have been unpacking boxes. Both the fixed future time and the length of time are often mentioned in future perfect continuous sentences. By the end of this week, I'll have been working here for 5 months. Fixed future time. The end of this week. Length of time. 5 months. But this is not always the case. Anne will be in a bad mood at the party this evening because she'll have been doing housework.
Research spot. Look for more information about 1. Urban tribes. 2. Fashion events in your country.